Hello, hola, bonjour, konnichiwa, ni hao, sports fans all around the world. Welcome to Amiel's Talk, a special segment on This or That Sports TV where you and I can laugh, have discussions, and find solutions to pressing issues for yes people, the game we love. No, I know it's Amiel's Talk you don't normally see. You don't normally see people with email. Normally just email alone make him one talk. So, you don't know NBA today, so I have to bring in Joe Mar in a little discussion to the people. So, what about Joe Mar? What you do?
Yeah, bro, I'm doing well, thanks. You had to bring on the NBA expert for his expert analysis. So, wherever expertise is required, Joe Mar Graham from This or That Sports TV makes an appearance. That's what
I
we
know
do.
for pop him color, man. Well, if people remember in my first video, at the end of that my debut video, Joe Mar did say that he will be correcting me on a lot of things. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have the discussion and we just pick each other brain and let's talk about the NBA trade deadline. A lot
Let's
of
do it.
crazy moves going on this season. Let's start off with the Nets acquiring Mikal Bridges, Spencer Dinwiddie coming back again, a few other rotational pieces coming into the team. And of course, you know that Ben Simmons was always there, but unfortunately, Kyrie left, Durant left. So, what are your thoughts on the Nets team right now?
First of all, before even talking about the trades and the moves and the rigmarole with the trade deadline, yeah, obviously we know that Brooklyn, were contenders before, and with one swoosh, one movement, they're no longer contenders. There's no longer realistic expectations for Brooklyn to do anything at all. Obviously with the combination of these good players like Bridges and Dinwiddie, they're solid players. And we saw where Dinwiddie really put this Brooklyn team on his back a few years ago. We know that they can win games. We know that they can play well together, especially if they're well coached, especially if they're coherent. But let's not even talk about the moves that Brooklyn got. One thing I want to talk about, and I was talking to my old man, the creator of Joe Man, Mr. Philip Graham himself, my father, and we spoke about Ben Simmons. No, I am a big champion for, or was a big champion for Ben Simmons. And I thoroughly believed that Ben Simmons was on trajectory to be a top five point guard of all time and like a top 20 NBA player. Like after his first couple of seasons, I would have bet my bottom dollar. As I said, people, my bottom dollar. You get me? I said that's what I bet my bottom dollar. That Ben Simmons would have gone on to be. That Ben Simmons would have gone on to be a a top 20 point guard, a top 20 NBA player all time. I rated him that highly. Rush would have known about my affinity for Ben Simmons. As I said, spoke to Philip about it, and I was this big champion for Ben Simmons. I'm like, yo, Ben Simmons going to get it right. They're like, Ben Simmons doesn't shoot. I'm like, who cares? Magic Johnson wasn't a great shooter, and he still managed to go ahead and do great things. Jason Kidd, a top 20, definitely a top 10 point guard, probably a top 5 point guard, Jason Kidd. Definitely a top 50 player of all time. He was not a very good shooter until later on in his career. So I was so convinced that Ben Simmons was going to come out and he was going to just average triple doubles, get his 19 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists, and just break the NBA because he had every reason to do so. What happened to Ben Simmons? Before we even talk about the trade deadline, what the hell happened to my boy, the Australian giant, Ben Simmons?
Well, I mean, we heard reports coming out that he had some mental issues, a lot of things going on and happening around his life, and the little situation that he had in the 76ers looked like it lick him chip or something.
Bro, Bro, the man chip literally get licked. Like it's so weird. How can you be and let's face it, Ben Simmons came out, he was the best rookie by far, like he was so outstanding. He went on and he continued developing from stride to stride, averaging a lot of points. Not a lot of points, but averaging a good amount of points and averaging high assists, high rebounds.
Yeah.
And by his third or fourth season, Ben Simmons was definitively a top three defender in the NBA. Guarding every single position very efficiently. Ben Simmons, I can say right now definitively in the NBA, and I don't care who want come at me, is the best guard defender in the league. I think
I would
nobody
disagree with that.
I think nobody guards the guard position, whether that be one or two, like Ben Simmons, because he moves as though he's 5'11", 6 foot, but he's 6'10", 6'11", with long arms, and he's extremely strong, and he's extremely versatile, extremely lateral. Outstanding perimeter defender that can rebound very well, that can also guard threes, and he can also guard fours, and he can hold him on against five as well. An outstanding defender who has the vision of so many players in the past, so
Yeah.
many great players. He was compared to LeBron, compared to Magic, so on and so forth. Doing all of these things with all this potential, and still a top defender. I think the best defender the Nets have right now. You get me? I say, so one thing about Ben Simmons, him still can guard, and that will never leave him. But why didn't he become the star that he was meant to become? That's something that really bothered me. I'm right like 99.3% of the time. So Ben Simmons was something that I was wrong about, and it cut me, man. It cut me because I think it's a waste of potential.
Yeah, bro. As I said before, he had some mental issues. It came out in some reports, and persons were also questioning his work ethic. That was a big question mark around him.
Yeah,
He wasn't
because
in the gym taking shots, improving his jumper, all these things, his post game, all of these things. It needed to get better. It looked like Ben Simmons was just content with what he was as a player. And
yeah,
it's just not good. And you see the generational change in basketball is a point guard league now. You have to be also a good shooter as well. If you're not a good shooter, then longevity in the sport is not going to last.
based on Ben Simmons' trajectory when he came into the NBA, right now in what is this his fifth season, Ben Simmons should be competing with the Lucas and the Giannis's to be one of the best players in the NBA. I know he's not even a surefire starter on his team. He's not even a sure. He doesn't finish games. So that's disappointing. But sorry for that tangent. We just didn't have
No,
a
it's
bet.
okay, but don't lose hope, Don't lose hope just yet,
No, I
because
think it too late for him to be an all time great now. It's literally too late for him to be an all
yeah,
time
I
great
was
now.
speaking about him being an all-time great, but he can still end his career in a
Good luck.
upward trajectory with this new team around him. Less pressure being around him now, and I think this new crop of players is going to take a lot of pressure off of him. So now the coach has this challenge of thinking, what am I going to do? Place Ben Simmons as the main point guard? Will I bring him in the center, power forward? How am I
Yeah.
going to adjust this team to get the best out of it? And it will be very interesting. I still have them as a playoff team, not a championship contender by any means, but a strong team, a very decent team.
Solid team and good shooters. And if Ben Simmons can, because I think Ben Simmons can start at the four and still dominate the game, still control the game. Like we see Giannis do it. Giannis is Milwaukee's primary ball handler. And then literally have Middleton and Drew Holiday. And Giannis is still their primary ball handler. So that shows that a power forward can indeed, orchestrate offense. Like we've seen LeBron James do it for 20 years. So Giannis, I mean, Ben Simmons, I think in this team, if he gets back to himself, to who we know he can be, and runs this offense, he doesn't need to shoot threes to make this team tick. I think he can get a lot of assists, play some defense, but he cannot be afraid to drive the ball to the rim because he doesn't want to go to the line. The moment Ben Simmons just gets back to driving the ball to the rim, I think he can propel himself back to All-Star level. But if he continues on this trajectory, he'll never be an All-Star ever again in his whole entire life. But as I
Yeah,
said, Brooklyn, based on the circumstances, both Kyrie and KD wanted to leave. I think I think they got back good pieces to
yeah,
put a good team together for sure.
yeah. A lot of longevity for that team. I can see them making the playoffs for years to come. But yeah, man, make a segue and go into Dallas Mavericks now. Them
Mm,
acquiring Kyrie, and boy, oh boy, in my opinion, this was a bad move.
bad
This
move.
this was a bad move,
Ooh,
bro.
tell me why I said that.
With all the drama surrounding Kyrie and all the question marks, you don't know if at the when his contract expires, will he be a Dallas Maverick player? So you just have him for 1 year and that's it. And you know all the drama that surrounds Kyrie. If him say one wrong thing,
Where
it blow
Kyrie
up
goes,
and
where Kyrie goes, drama follows. But
yeah.
okay, I have this to tell you. The last time Shit. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
That was the
The last,
face.
the last time, the editor, I don't know if I'm gonna leave that in, I'm gonna edit it out. Apologies, editor, you can leave it in. Make the people them get a laugh. It's whatever. The last time, I know say the editor watch right now, people, and he's not very happy with me right now. I can tell you he's very upset with me right now. Um, the last time Kyrie Irving played with a ball handling forward, because Luka Doncic, I guess he plays like a guard, but I think he's a hybrid of a guard and a forward,
Yeah.
like one LeBron James. The
Mm.
last time Kyrie Irving played with a dominant, ball dominating forward type big player who gets buckets and gets assists and gets rebounds, he went to the NBA Finals. The year
Mm.
before that, he won an NBA championship. Now, Luka Doncic is an up and coming star. It's crazy to think that he's up and coming. He was born in 1999. Doncic is younger than us. Like, have you seen Luka's mother? Bro.
Forget the
like,
basketball, dog.
bro, fam.
Fam.
So like, so Luka Doncic is still up and coming. He still has more to grow. He's not in his prime yet, even though he's even though he's playing as good as anybody has ever played in history. Like he's on trajectory to be an all-time player. Like if he continues at this level, he'll be a top five player. He'll be the NBA all-time scorer. If he continues at this level, which is absolutely absurd if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Him being able to dominate the game the way he dominates the game, with Kyrie Irving not having to worry about making plays, not having to do anything, just stay in the corner and just get shots, just do what Kyrie does. With that supporting cast around Dallas, I think though the Western Conference is rough, Dallas are a few injuries away from making it to the NBA Finals. Like I really do think that you put Luka and Kyrie together, you throw them in the ball, make them fight it out. I think them can get results, bro. Because Kyrie Irving is the most ridiculous player I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Kyrie Irving as a guard, I think, scores the easiest ever. Have you ever seen a 6-footer score as easily and as efficiently as Kyrie Irving?
Allen Iverson. I'm just throwing it out there for the older folks who have been watching basketball for you. They might make that argument. They just might
Yo,
make that argument.
AI,
Yeah.
good scorer. Don't get me wrong, but yo, Kyrie's crazy, fam.
Yeah, most definitely.
Kyrie's ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous, and I think you put him beside a Luka Doncic, who is a unicorn. I think they're one or two injuries away from doing something big in the West. So, Dallas, them risk it all. You risk it for the biscuit, as the people them say, and who
Mm.
knows, it might fall in their favors. So I'm not mad at it.
I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, you're only focusing on the offensive side of the game. I mean, they
Yeah,
lost two pieces in them with it and Smith, who are two good
defender.
defenders.
Hmm.
So I will have to look back on a few of these Dallas Maverick games. I have to watch them very closely and let's see how they hold up on the defensive end. But as for now, I don't see them winning any championship. And you see the little problems, the little niggles that come on with Luka
Kyrie.
Doncic,
Oh,
both of them,
the
the
injuries.
little injuries and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. Because
But
yo, I think Luka Doncic is a good player, but I think Luka Doncic needs to spend either a year or two with LeBron James or another player I think would really suit him well is Nikola Jokic. Um, not Nikola Jokic, Joker. You get me? I say, remind me of his name, the big player
from
for play.
Nuggets,
It slips me right now. Literally the best center in the NBA. I can't remember his name.
the MVP.
Yeah, Jokic,
Yeah,
Nikola Jokic.
not Nikola Jokic. Oh my God, people. Why I
Who,
can't
who,
remember the man.
who can remember Joker name? That's crazy. This is so embarrassing.
What is his name?
Yeah, and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah,
Yes,
Joe.
I was right.
Yeah,
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic.
Yeah,
Jokic.
what?
Yeah,
That was weird. And Nikola Jokic. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
that's the weirdest thing that ever happened. What's happening to our brain? But yeah, as I said, Jokic was this chubby fat kid a couple of years ago, and he went back to Serbia and he changed his diet and he lost like 50 pounds and became the MVP. And I think Luka Doncic still can work harder, still can get himself into better shape. And I think if
Yeah.
he does that, Luka Doncic will go on and possibly be greatest of all time. I think it's well within the realm of possibility based on the start that he has had, being only 23. So um, pairing Luca with Kyrie Irving, obviously they're losing defense, and I think they might still be one piece away. But who knows? Get the culture right, make Kyrie Irving happy, and we probably can see something fun happen. See LeBron.
I don't see that.
LeBron go to Dallas. We see something happening a few and and some good things happen. So I'm all about risking it, bro. And I'm all about taking risk. I'm all about trying new things because Dallas, as they were currently constructed, we're not going to make a push for the NBA. So what then is the point? Because they're not going to the NBA anyway. So try something. No, them give themselves a puncher's chance before they didn't have a puncher's chance.
Ah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Suns now acquiring Kevin Durant. What is wrong with this man named Kevin Durant? Always hopping from good team to good team. The Suns without Kevin Durant were already making that push. And there you have it. He went to the Suns and
Safe to say ring number 4, ring number 3 for Kevin Durant.
boy,
Safe to say.
I have to see a few of these games. Let's see how they play together. I need to see how they play together before I make that statement. But it's looking like it.
I'm telling you right here, right now, the only way Phoenix doesn't win an NBA championship is if Kevin Durant is not healthy. It's the same as the Warriors. Obviously not the same as the Warriors. There's bro. Chris Paul is super underrated now. Look
Yeah,
at Chris Paul's numbers. He's averaging like 9 assists. And he's getting points on the board. Still averaging nearly a double double in this NBA. Still getting steals. Still doing a good
at
job.
his age.
Not
At
playing
his
as
age.
much because they're load managing. They're saving him for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul is still getting his numbers. Devin Booker is still one of the best off guards in the league. Not to mention DeAndre Ayton, who shows sparks of greatness and brilliance from time to time. That four alone, is absolutely ridiculous, man. Kevin Durant, we all know Kevin Durant still a top 5 player, still, in my opinion, the best and most efficient scorer in the NBA. The most skilled and versatile scorer in the league. And they put him together with a point guard like Chris Paul, who is a great leader and who will keep the boat ticking. Because Kevin Durant has always thrived as a leader.
Yeah.
Somebody who's responsible for leading the team and make things happen, and he just goes out there and hoop. And he's put in a position where all he has to do is go out there and hoop. He probably plays the 4, maybe. I'd love to see him at the 4 playing that pick and roll with Chris Paul, pick and pop with Chris Paul. And I think the only way the Suns don't win the NBA is if Kevin Durant gets hurt, and that's all it boils down to for me. I think the Suns right now have to be the hands-on favorites. They have to be
I
favorites.
I don't see them losing Mikhail Bridges or even Cameron Johnson. It hurting them in any way. That
I think
defensive pressure that they once had with those guys.
I don't see it hurting them because
Mm.
you lose Michael Bridges and you got. Can I cuss on this channel now? You lose Michael Bridges and you got Kevin effing Durant. You got Kevin Durant, bro. So like obviously Bridges, bro, underrated player.
Yeah.
One of my favorite players. He will make a good career for himself in this league. He will go on to do great things. Don't get me wrong. I think he's found a new home where he'll be more appreciated. I think he'll be required to do more
He
at his
dropped
new
42
team.
in his one of his games.
Yeah, I think he'll be required to do more at his new team. But, bro, at the end of the day, the point of the game is to score more than the other opponent. So, you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. chances are you're going to score more than the opponent.
Well, as I said before, I'm just going to have to sit down and watch a few games how these three guys come together if they can make it happen. But as you said, rightfully so, they are the favorites right now as it stands, and
Yep.
it's going to be a very interesting season. Now, going now to LA, but not the Lakers right now, just yet. We're talking about the Clippers.
Still not good enough.
Recently acquiring Westbrook from the buyout.
Not good enough. They're not good enough.
Not with PGR, Kawhi Leonard. They'd even get in Eric Garden. They even got Eric Garden. A good
I
three
think
and
Eric
D.
Gordon has been a Clipper before. I remember it was actually, back in the days when me and you first started talking about basketball. Back in those days when Chris Paul, you would have known that I was a staunch advocate for Chris Paul in my time. When to win a khaki suit, I got the great Meadowbrook High School. I was the biggest Chris Paul fan. And back in that time, Eric Gordon used to come off for a bench and rain down threes. That was right before he moved to the Rockets, where I think he really made
Yeah.
a career for himself. So Eric Gordon back in LA, good acquisition. I think in another world, in another era, Paul George and Kawhi would have absolutely worked. But I just think the teams around them are too good. I don't think they have the sufficient size to do what they want to do. Paul George, one of the biggest underachievers in the NBA, in my opinion. Kawhi Leonard, I think one of the most overrated players. Uh, Russell Westbrook, I think the most overrated player of all time.
What?
Yeah, I
That's
think
a
Westbrook is.
strong statement. You ever, you
I
ever,
think
you
Westbrook is.
ever gonna tell me why you said that? You ever gonna
I
tell me
think
why you
Westbrook
said
is
that?
the most overrated player of all time. I wonder if the editor listening right now because he's a staunch Russell Westbrook fan. The most overrated player ever, in my opinion, ever. Given that we've seen his full body of work from start to finish, and I think I can make that assertion that yeah, I think he was at one point, people were literally saying at one point Westbrook was the best point guard in the league. And that should have never been words to ever have left anybody's mouth. Because in my opinion, I don't think at any point in time Russell Westbrook was a top five guard in the league. I don't
Even
think
at that
Russell
the triple double run that he went on, even
I
at
don't
that.
think Westbrook was ever better than Damian Lillard. I don't think he was ever better than Kyrie Irving. I don't think he was ever better than Steph Curry. I don't think he was ever better than Chris Paul. And then he started to make his way into the league when we saw the likes of like these new age point guards coming to the league. Like for the last couple of years, we can safely say Luka Doncic have been a top point guard in the NBA amongst other people. So I think Westbrook, if top five, has always been a 5-6 type of player. Even on his triple double run at best, his MVP runs, I think maybe then you could have probably said, all right, Westbrook was the fifth best point guard in the league. Like I don't think he's ever been better than some of these players that didn't win MVPs, that weren't spoken about as much as him. For example, Chris Paul. In my opinion, Chris Paul is the third greatest point guard of all time, or the fourth greatest point guard of all time, in my opinion. Maybe fifth. So I probably now thinking about it, I'd have Magic one. That goes without saying. Steph two, but Steph is closing on you, Magic. Magic, Steph Curry is closing on you. Then third you have like Oscar Robertson. He's somebody who's good. Jason Kidd did it at a high level, and you have Chris Paul in that conversation. So I think among the not Allen Iverson, Isaiah Thomas from Bad Boys, he's up in
Yeah,
that conversation as well.
Detroit. Yeah.
But yes, I think Chris Paul is an all-time point guard. Never won
But
an
how
MVP.
can you then put
Never won
Oscar
an MVP.
Robinson? Hold on. How can you then put Oscar Robinson above Chris Paul, but yet still Westbrook broke his record?
As in the reason why I'm have Oscar Robinson is not because of that. Oscar Robinson, first of all, Oscar Robinson won. Second of all, Oscar Robinson was a good player that contributed to the game of winning, like an all-time great. I just think Russell Westbrook, like those years that Westbrook got his triple double, he's the player that Westbrook guarded averaged the highest field goal percentage. So he literally
Mm.
wasn't playing in the defense. He was just sagging off to get rebounds. He actively chased those triple doubles. Unlike we see Giannis today, or we see Luka, or we see Nikola Jokic gets triple doubles.
Got it
LeBron
right.
James gets triple doubles. Ben Simmons, when he was good, getting triple doubles, and it and it was so organic. Westbrook's triple
Yeah.
doubles weren't organic, and I don't rate Westbrook any at all. Most overrated player, obviously. No, no, where he's at in his career, it's not worth anything to judge him on his performances. I don't think this will make or break his legacy. But then I don't think there's much of a legacy to break because not a good player in my opinion. Just a very statistically great player.
I think this move that he made to the Lakers, it did hurt his legacy
You
because
think so?
fans have this bias. They have this recency bias that will hurt his career because people are forgetting what we saw in OKC, in some of the games for Houston. All of this when he went to the Washington Wizards,
Yeah.
especially the Washington Wizards, we know what Westbrook can do on his game, on his day, but the system has to be right. If the system is not set in a way for Russell Westbrook to play his game, it's not going to work. And we've seen it.
Breaking. In order for us Westbrook to play his game, you just have to understand that we're not going to win anything. That's the type of player Westbrook is. And as I said, this the reason why this didn't taint his legacy for me because in my opinion he doesn't have much of a legacy besides triple doubles. But for example, at this World Cup, had Messi not won the World Cup, would that change my opinion on Messi? Did winning this World Cup change my opinion on Messi? Yeah. It just showed me that he was even greater than I thought he was. But had Messi come out and put up a so-so performance, would it affect how I looked at Messi? No. Because Messi's body of work that he's done from that point to 35 years old is what showed me that Messi was the greatest of all time. Or is what showed me that Messi was the greatest of his generation, right? I still believe Maradona was greater, but Messi coming out and doing what he did in the World Cup, that improved his legacy, but I don't think it could have hurt his legacy. So what Ronaldo, for example, Ronaldo, what he's been doing recently at Manchester United with Portugal, it doesn't, it don't make me see him in a worse light. Because you're up in age, you've done it all, you've won everything that you need to. And so the same thing with Westbrook. He's won the MVPs, he's got the triple doubles, he's made the playoffs. That was his biggest achievement, making the playoffs that year when he got MVP. Biggest achievement, carrying his team to the playoffs. But it is what it is. Oh yeah, he got to the finals, lost to LeBron. Oh yeah, he choked in the Western Conference Finals against Golden State. Yeah, those are Westbrook's biggest achievements. So as I said about that legacy that I've spoken about. But yeah, um, his legacy was not tainted for me because of the Lakers. Going to the Clippers though, because that's what I thought about the big move. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, same thoughts that I had with the Nets. I think they're a good team. They can go to the playoffs, but I don't see
Yeah,
them
for
making
sure.
that big step, that big jump, especially with Paul George's inconsistency. He's so inconsistent. His shooting has taken a dip, and I don't know what's happening.
Remember Paul George at OKC? His last season at OKC, that I thought that he should have won the MVP. I thought Paul George was going to push on and become one of the best players in the league. Like that season at OKC, he was ridiculous, bro. That was the only season when Westbrook saw that Paul George was the man and kind of deferred to Paul George, and we saw how well OKC looked until Damian Lillard, waved them goodbye. But like Paul George has not been the same since then. I wonder why.
I think motivation has to do with it because him wanting to go to the Lakers at that time and never getting the move that he wanted. He didn't want to go to OKC, but he said, okay, let's do it.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. So I don't say it's something.
Contending team.
Yeah, something for consider, but it's weird. Any other
A
moves that
championship team. We
you
just have to
see
wait and
with
see.
any other moves that you see with a Panda? Like, those are the big ones we covered.
I mean, well, finish it off with the Lakers.
All right.
We have to finish it off with the Lakers. Can't be any other team.
Well, yeah, DJ, so take the mic and
We
DJ.
have to finish it off with. I am so happy. So Michael, put it back down. Cool now. Bro, I am so I'm so happy. Boy has left the Lakers. I am so happy. Boy,
Mm.
the system that was around him, it was just not the coaching staff. I mean, I saw them trying to bring him off as a six man and so forth. He was working for short periods of time, but I didn't see the consistency in it. So now they got him out. They got D'Lo. Glad that he's back because persons who know me, they know I am a fan of development. You see that Golden State Warriors, they left the blueprint. Draft good, develop, and you will see, you will reap the fruits. So I was very upset when they got rid of D'Lo and the other young pieces around him, but
D'Lo
I'm
had
happy
to
he's back
go, my G. That nigga had to
because he
go.
talked about some picture with Nick Young and bro,
He had to go, fam. The man record Nick Young a talk about girls who him talk to. And him did literally
he
just
was
go for married to Iggy, bro.
he was young and foolish.
Him should have get kicked out of the league, bro.
What, bro?
He should have been kicked out of the league. Bro, if I was Nick Young, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
He would have
it's a
been,
waste man move, but speaking from a basketball perspective,
yeah, from a basketball perspective.
he should have stayed. You got rid of D'Lo and kept Nick Young. Nick Young never have no longevity. He was already on his way out. He was a good 3-point shooter, but
During that time, the Lakers were a mess. They were making
yeah.
a lot of weird moves, bringing in Timothy Mozgov, doing all sort of weird stuff, giving all sort of weird money. They were really in a debacle, paying Kobe Bryant like near $30 million a year to do absolutely nothing. At that time, God rest his soul, one of the greats. Lakers just weren't run well during that time, and that explained all the terrible moves. Jerry Buss's son, I not even remember his name, but he had to be uprooted and Genie had to take over. She hired people who know about basketball, getting Rapalinka in and getting Magic in at the time. Magic wasn't very good at his job, but they made a lot of moves to switch the culture and to change it around. But in that time when D'Lo was shipped out, I think the Lakers culture was terrible. The team wasn't run well. They were just they were a retirement home for Kobe Bryant. And that really affected the franchise. And that's why they were in as bad shape as they were in. So you can't really blame the current Lakers for what they did with the youngsters then. It was a bad move, but D'Lo went to Brooklyn. He made a profound impact there. When he went to Minnesota, I thought that this was going to be it. I thought that he was going to be outstanding. I thought this was going to be a telling move. It didn't turn out as they had hoped. I think picking up Mike Conley, that's going to be big for them. I think that's a good move to Minnesota. I think that might just get them to another level, more than D'Lo would. And I do think D'Lo is a good fit for this Los Angeles Lakers team. So within that trade, with the Timberwolves ending up with Conley and the Lakers end up with D'Lo, I think that's a situation where there are two winners right there.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I can see it happening with Williams and Rudy Gobert. It should be interesting. Should be interesting to watch. But for the Timberwolves right now, and what's his name? Anthony Edwards,
Yeah,
good player as well. But
ridiculous.
I just don't see them. I just don't see them making that. Yeah, he's a good player, but just right now with this team,
With this crazy Western Conference, it's hard to really make noise in the Western Conference. However, Karl Anthony Towns is still young. He still has youth, and Anthony Edwards is the future man. So I think with Conley, I think like they can make a big push, and who knows what Anthony Edwards can be next year. Anyways, due to some technical difficulties, we kind of got cut the studio talks a bit short. Unfortunately, Emil never get for same closing soliloquy. But next time, I'm sure you people will hear it from him. But I have to close it out right now because the editor uh tell myself to wrap it up. You see me? But anyways, people, before we go, like the video, leave a comment. Tell us about your thoughts. Joe man know nothing about ball game, or was I just chatting up my mouth? Do you want to see me on Emil Talks more? Talk to me. Let me know on the field. Talk to Emil. Ask him some questions. Give him some video ideas for his next video, people, and share the video to at least 10 people. Then sure to get us 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can do that, you know how many subscribers that get us by the end of the day, people. Anyways. This is Emil Talks.
Yo, bro, hear me?
This is This or That Sports TV, people. And we're out.